a big takeaway, and I share this with all of our athletes, is this: after you see the NCAA tournament or maybe the Olympic trials, which we just had, I actually went and just got back. It was very cool. They're not doing anything special. Technically, they're not, right? I mean, building up from a single leg, and they have, their favorite tie up, right? Aaron Brooks is an underhook master. Trent Hidley's an underhook master. Some of the guys wrestle from space. Some people are position-based wrestlers like Kyle Dake. None of this stuff are things that you can't do. Now, what separates us, I think, is two main things. Number one is the feel and instincts. We don't see that on display. I see it, but you probably don't. A lot of it is feel and instincts. Look at the sport of boxing. It's all feel and instincts. I can't grab you and pull your head down and punch you, right? That you can do that in Muay Thai and MMA, but in boxing, you're not allowed to grab your opponent. It's all feel and instincts and learning how their body moves and when they're getting ready to jab. And I mean, it's all like absorbing information through the eyes. Well, in wrestling, we absorb information through the eyes too, and that kind of lets us know when we can score, when we cannot, when we should react, when we shouldn't react. But also we feel through our hands, and we do this at our camps. I'm like, okay, close your eyes, get inside ties. Bottom partner, I want you to drop your level 6 inches. My hands move. Bottom partner, move to your right 1 foot. My hands move to my left. See, even with my eyes closed, I can feel what you're doing. So the feel comes from just what you see through your eyes, but also what you feel through your hands. You can't drill that. You cannot. Those guys they've put in two decades of their life. Some of them, all of them have put in 12, probably to 15 years of their life. The men and women in the Olympic trials. Maybe less for some of the women, which is somewhat of a newer sport, right? But still, by the same token, a lot of it is feel and instincts. It's not something you can drill in a wrestling room. And that's the reason I think a lot of live wrestling with a lot of different partners is key. We've talked about that before. Secondly, mental game. Understanding how your mind works. Dealing with the thoughts of, what if I don't win? What if I win? What if I don't? What if this happens? We have to stick to a task-minded approach and not think too much about the outcomes. We do think about outcomes. If you're trying to climb Mount Everest, you should stare at the top of Mount Everest. Maybe there's a picture, you think about it, you daydream about these things because you have this emotional attachment to your goal, right? We do that in business. We do that in our lives as adults. Your parents do that, maybe they're trying to raise money for a big trip to Disney and they think about it. Maybe there's brochures around your mom flips through and it gets her motivated, right? So we're always trying to attach ourselves to the dream and the vision. But, when it's game day, we might think real quickly about what it's going to feel like to win that state title or national title or whatever goal you're chasing. But, when it comes down to crunch time, we just got to focus on the ABCs, what we need to do to win the match. So I think these athletes have a very strong mental game. I know Helen Maroulis said that Coach Steiner said, 12 years ago when she first tried it for her first Olympic team, he's like, you want to make this Olympic team. You don't have to make the Olympic team. And she says, no, you don't understand, Terry. I need this. And she's like, man, he was right. And I didn't really perform very well. And then she came back the next Olympics and won the Olympic title, obviously. So I think the mental game is number 2. And 3 is just their physicality. And they've built their athleticism. They've built their bodies. Some of them are God-given freak world-class athletes. Some of them are not. But they've built up their bodies. And I think that those are 3 takeaways that we should take from watching a big tournament like this. But from a wrestling move standpoint, probably not a whole lot going on. The core skills are the same, and but these other 3 areas I think are something that's very worthwhile to share with everyone. So, train year round, get a lot of live wrestling, a lot of drill time. Not every practice is going to be career changing. Not every practice are you going to feel like, you're 50% closer to your goal. Not every weight lift is perfect. Nothing, it's not perfect. You just keep showing up and keep showing up. It's the aggregation of marginal gains. The aggregation, the accumulation of little small marginal gain, not big gains, marginal. The aggregation of marginal gains. And you can't cheat Father Time. You're going to have to put in 10, 15 years year round. And because it's not something that these men and women at the college level, also highest level of college wrestling, these people are all in. They're giving up big chunks of their life for this. And, the sacrifice is very cool to watch, and for those of you who are doing that, you kind of get what we're talking about. And for those of you coaches like myself who've done it, we get it, right? We get it. You give up a lot for this one, dream and weekend. But for those of you who are just kind of starting to figure it out, think about that. Feeling instincts, mental game, and building up your bodies. Those are three things that I think that that are on display that maybe you don't really watch and notice because we're so hyper focused on wrestling moves and techniques, and that can kind of trick you a little bit into ignoring these other pieces of the puzzle. Good luck.